Hello.
Then. Now.
Bow down to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello and welcome to episode number 140 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for ECW for the 22nd of April 2025. It is the first episode of ECW following WrestleMania 41, where we do have a lot of changes to this show, including a new ECW World Champion, that being Jacob Fatu. We have a new ECW Women's Champion, Florence, although she's not here tonight, she'll be back next week. We have new ECW Tag Team Champions in the Wyatt 7. Kevin Owens is still the television champion, and the $1 Million Championship still around the waist of Kathy Cool, albeit with some controversy attached. But yeah, tonight, we saw some potential changes in the draft last night on Raw, and there's going to be some potential switches in the draft here tonight, as well as some call-ups, and I'm still finalizing the pay-per-view calendar, so I don't know when exactly or what exactly the first ECW pay-per-view is going to be, but I think it's going to work like last year, where the first pay-per-views after Mania are going to be like 3 brand exclusive ones, and then the rest will probably end up being joint branded until SummerSlam, but again, that's not finalized. But yeah, so without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. The show kicks off with a little pre-tape video of Ava Raine from earlier on today walking into her office, and she's there she's reflecting. You can see she's worried, obviously because The Rock and company lost at WrestleMania, so she has no idea what her future holds here on this brand. But she opens the office door, and she finds nothing in there except just a letter on the table, and it's from Paul Heyman. He goes, "Dear Ava," it says, "as you may have heard, after WrestleMania, my tribal chief Roman Reigns and I, we have taken our pastures to a different show. My tribal chief has finished everything he wants to do here on ECW and wants to make a new show his home. And as his loyal wise man, it is with heavy heart that I must leave behind my baby, my show, ECW, behind to follow my tribal chief. Ava, this message is for you. Your daddy is not going to be around anymore. You don't have to worry about your daddy messing things up for you. This is your chance to finally step out of his shadow. This is your chance to finally run ECW the way you wanted to run it, not the way your daddy wanted you to run it. Because even though we were at heads, I definitely saw potential in you. So I leave behind ECW in what I believe to be good hands. Do not disappoint. Send love to the rest of your family, Paul Heyman." So yeah, Ava Raine, she was the acting general manager of Anointed by The Rock. The Rock's team lost at WrestleMania, so The Rock's not going to be around anymore. Ava still is, though, and she was obviously prepping to be fired here tonight, but Heyman's trusted her with the show while he goes off to Raw. So yeah, Ava Raine is now in charge of ECW full-time. Good for her. And the show kicks off with the new ECW World Champion, Jacob Fatu. He comes to the ring, and the crowd's cheering him on, going, "Fatu, Fatu, Fatu, Fatu." And he goes, I just can't remember where the golden one center is. Hold on, I'm going to have to look this up. Golden One Center. It's in Sacramento, okay. Goes, "Sacramento, I hear y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I did it, y'all. At WrestleMania, the most dominant man in my entire family finally proved I belong at the top. I made it to the top. and there were nobody who could step in the Samoan Werewolf's way of getting to the top. 'Cause I'm all gas, no brakes with it. And finally, after all these years, you can't just call me Jacob Fatu, Samoan Werewolf, baddest mother trucker this side of the Hawaii family. You could call me Jacob Fatu, ECW World Champion. But I have to give credit where it's due. And that is why I'm going to call out you, the former champion, Warden, to this ring. Warden makes his way out, dressed in his suit. And he comes to the ring and him and Jacob go face to face. He goes, Warden, you and I have been butting heads for a long time now. What started as family drama became personal beef between two guys just striving to stay on top here on this brand. And at WrestleMania I came out on top, but let's me get one thing clear. I see the way Dwayne was talking about you, the way Dwayne was talking to you. He was using you. You don't need Dwayne and the rest of my family to call your shots and order you around, because you're a badass on your own. And one day, you and I will go at it again. This championship's still on the line. And we get to truly find out once and for all who is the baddest man here on ECW. Yeah, I mean? And Warden's like, yeah, I know what you mean, Jacob. I took this offer from The Rock to be the ECW champion, to be his ECW champion, because who wouldn't take that offer? It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson, it's Hollywood superstar. Guaranteeing you world championships and WrestleMania matches. But Jacob, at WrestleMania, you were the better man, and more important than that, you weren't my respect. And he offers a handshake out to Jacob Fatu, and the Gorillas of Destiny's music hits. And then Tama Tonga's like, hey, listen here, Warden, you ungrateful sack of shit. Just because The Rock ain't around here anymore doesn't mean you can betray your chosen family like this. Okay, his daughter still runs things around here, and with Heyman out of her hair, I'm sure she's gonna do what's best for the entire family. Our family, not your family, our family. So you better take back those words, and you better plant Jacob on his ass right now, or else there's gonna be hell to pay. And Warden and Jacob sort of look at each other, and Jacob goes, listen here, this is your chance. You gonna sit there and take that from three losers? Or you finally gonna be a man about it? And then Warden, he goes to leave, and he gets into the face of Big Talatonga. He shoves Talatonga to the ground to a big pop. He rips his suit jacket off, but he's jumped by the Gorillas of Destiny. Jacob Fatu tosses Tonga Loa off. He tosses Tama Tonga off. Big Talatonga gets to his feet. He boots Jacob down. When Solo Sikoa's music hits, he storms to the ring. And he helps fend off the Gorillas of Destiny alongside Warden. So Warden now standing side by side with Solo and Jacob. And then it is announced our main event tonight is a 6-man tag team match. The new ECW World Champion Jacob Fatu teams with Warden, the former champion, and Solo Sikoa to take on the Gorillas of Destiny. I've just changed their name to the Gorillas of Destiny, given them the GOD logo. They're not the Bloodline. They can't really be the MFT either, because they are all actually brothers. They're just not the Bloodline, but they're also not my family tree, because they are just a family tree. But yes, GOD versus Solo, Jacob, and Warden tonight. Speaking of the Bloodline, we come back and Kelly Kincaid's guests are the Usos. And Jimmy and Jay walk in and Kelly goes, WrestleMania, big night for your family. Finally, this Bloodline saga of your career is behind you. Which of course leaves me, for the first time, a question that I truly need the answer to. What's next for the Usos? He goes, Kelly, WrestleMania was big, Us. After all this time, The Rock, calling me the weak link of the family, saying he was embarrassed to have main event Jey Uso representing the family, Us. Well, I got one back and then some at WrestleMania when I pinned his bald ass to the mat. Yeet! Now I saw Jacob and I saw Solo out there. And Jacob, congratulations, he's the world champion. I know how that feels. But as for the Usos, we are the greatest damn tag team to ever do it here in WWE. Do you know what that means, Kelly? And then Jimmy steps in and he goes, it means we're going to continue to prove what we proved at WrestleMania. And that's that our family, blood family, is stronger than any chosen family. So this goes out to any tag teams here on ECW. Now, our family drama is out of the way. You're gonna hate to see the Usos coming, because we want to get back to where we belong, and that's at the top of the tag team division here in WWE. 4 letters, 1 word, And then they walk off, and then we just see Susie, like, lingering in the background, like, after the Usos leave, like, she was listening into what they were saying. We then cut to the ring. We see a NXT Japan guy in the ring called Kenzo Toriyama. You know, he's getting a big opportunity on the Raw after ECW after WrestleMania. His opponent, though, is Jake Something. Jake Something comes out, and, interestingly, I guess, not that interesting given who it is, but he's also somebody that I had to try and find something interesting to do with, so, you know, I've racked my brain. I think I've got something I at least kind of like. But with Jake Something is Shawn Spears. You know, they come out to Shawn Spears' music. Shawn Spears is in his suit, and Jake Something is being walked to the ring by Shawn Spears. And he's the one in action, Jake Something is. And he beats Kenzo Toriyama in 8:27. 61 for Jake, 76 for Kenzo. So yeah, Japanese guy overpowered in TEW, who'd have guessed. But yeah, 61 for Jake in his first match is pretty good. And he's somebody who definitely fits the sort of mold I want to make, especially ECW's mid-card going forward. So yeah, we're going to bring him up, see how he gets on. And again, I do have a thing for him. But anyway, after the match, he's celebrating in the ring with Shawn Spears, and Shawn Spears grabs a microphone. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you. My name is Shawn Spears. And this place has been shrouded in lies and deceit for far too long. This brand was brought back under the guidance of being a brand where one entire family could run their whole stuff and everybody else got left in the dirt. And that is the harsh truth, which is where I come in. I am a guiding light to all of you out there who feel lost, who feel you have no purpose. I too have been where you were, but I'm no longer there. I found my purpose in life, and it is to have the final say on what goes on in this place. Take a look at the man standing to my left. This man has been looking for his opportunity for so damn long. This man has been fighting and scratching and clawing in the dark where nobody could see him, because he wasn't related to anybody important and he didn't tick the right boxes to be touted as the next future world champion of his industry. So much so, this man, he couldn't even create his own identity. None of you even know his name, because he cocks in to every single locker room he's ever been in, and they say, there's Jake, and they go, who is Jake? Well, Jake doesn't need your support. Jake doesn't even need a name. Jake Something is the embodiment of talent that doesn't get the opportunity it deserves on a brand like this, and there is more of them out there, but because they don't fit the mold and they don't get to fit into any square peg that they need to fit into, you ostracize them. They get stranded, lost, with nothing to give. And that is a lie. Because these are some of the greatest, most entertaining, strongest, best professional wrestlers on the planet today. And they will prosper. The truth will prevail. But there will be pain bringing it to light. Speaking of underutilized wrestlers, I guess is the segue, we cut back to the Moose Church, and this time there's not a physical gift from the Messiah and the Apostle, but it's more of a metaphorical gift, because of course he now is in possession of Sheamus's cross. But last week he took something even more important from Sheamus. He took his eye. Because Moose, the Messiah, said, Sheamus, our teachings can be easy or they can be difficult. Okay? I tried the easy way to get you to believe in the right thing, and that is to believe in the Messiah, but you rejected that message. You rejected it. So we had to do what we had to do. You didn't want to stop disrespecting us with the cross. We took the cross from you. And last week, the Messiah, he did a hell of a lot more than take your cross. He took your eye, man. Your eye. And sure, in that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, you got one over on the Messiah. But let's make one thing clear. The Messiah woke up and he can see clearly. He can always see clearly. More clearly than anybody else can. But you, my friend, you can barely see it all. Because you got an eye patch on. Because you stepped to the Messiah's business and you rejected our message. So this goes out to you, Sheamus. As far as I'm concerned, as far as the Messiah is concerned, this is over between us. But you want to keep walking around here being disrespectful, I can get real uncomfortable real quick. It just depends how much you want to break and commit those 7 deadly sins. $80 match for Mina versus Jacy Jayne. Okay, sure. I can't complain because it's a good rating, but I'm surprised. But yeah, Mina and the rest of Club Venus, they make their way out to the ring. They are here on ECW, and Mina gets a win over Jacy Jayne. 450 splash in 9 minutes and 7. 77 for Mina, 68 for Jacy. And then after the match, we get a Club Venus dance. All 4 of the girls, Victoria Shields and the Page Sisters are here. And they do a dance. They do a Club Venus dance. I promise this has a purpose at a later point. But I sort of need to establish it now so it doesn't just become a thing, when I need it to be a thing. So, yeah. They dance. Sexy dance time, I guess. Mina shakes her boobs around, because she's Mina, and it's extreme here on ECW. Speaking of, we cut to Ava in the back. She's got a bag with her, and she's making her way out to the ring when she stops because she hears someone approaching. It's Shotzi. And she sort of looks confused to see Shotzi. She goes, Ava, I hear you're running the place here now. And she goes, yeah, I am. Can I help you? And so she goes, oh, I see you're surprised to see me. Okay, I had a really tough go on SmackDown recently, so I really need to get off that show. And I think this place, ECW, is the perfect fit for me. What do you say? And Ava's like, well, I can't say I wanted you on ECW, but I'll tell you what. I have a new girl coming in who I just signed to ECW, and you can face her tonight. She's an opponent, and if you can win that, then we'll see if you get signed to ECW full time. So she goes, I won't let you down. it's going to be great to finally get a fresh start over here on ECW, away from the hell that is SmackDown. So yeah, Shotzi's here on unofficial duty from SmackDown, and she's wrestling a new signing to ECW later on tonight. But Ava, as we said, she had a bag with her. She's on her way out to the ring, which we then get when we come back from ads. She's in the ring. There's a championship podium in the ring with, the bag over the top of it. She goes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first of a new era here on ECW. Now, I've been taking influence from people of high power recently, but I trust you, this new era of ECW is going to harken back to the extreme more than you could ever imagine. More than even Paul Heyman could ever imagine, because he turned this place into a little bloodline circus, and, that's my family. We'll keep our family drama away from ECW going forward. But I know I'm going to have to do a lot of hard work to prove to you guys that I have this brand's best interests in heart. And it's going to take some time for you to believe in my vision of ECW, but I think I've got a good start. And she sort of takes the cloth off, and underneath is a new version of the Hardcore Championship. She goes, so this is something I've been wanting to introduce for a while now. This is the Hardcore Championship. Now, ECW, of course, when ECW was in its prime, and I'm not sure how much of that we can get away with on TV nowadays. The crowd boos that. It's like, I know, but, billion-dollar company sponsors, all that, it's just, I'm sorry. But with this Hardcore Championship, I promise you that at least one match a week here on ECW will be contested under Extreme Rules. And we will soon, once I get all the participants finalized after the transfer window's closed, begin a tournament to crown the inaugural Hardcore Champion. Which brings me to a little bit disappointing news I do have to address, because it is an elephant in the room. And that requires Kevin Owens, would you please come out to the ring? And Kevin Owens makes his way out to the ring. He's looking confused. I imagine he's been caught mid, he's eating backstage, so he comes out, he's finishing his food. He's like, Ava, I didn't think I was going to be on tap tonight. I first of all, you're off to a bad start with me, not letting these people see their people's champion on the first show after WrestleMania. I defended my championship. But, I understand that you want me out here to see my people, so what is this about? And Ava goes, Kevin, as you see, this here is the new Hardcore Championship. He goes, wow, I see it, yeah. It's a great looking championship, not as good as mine, my championship, our championship that I defended at WrestleMania. But it's a pretty good belt. And Dave goes, yeah, that's actually what I want to talk to you about. So, obviously with the Hardcore Championship on its way to ECW, how do I put this lightly, Kevin? He goes, what? You saying that I can't compete for it? Why? He goes, no, it's not that. It's there only feels the need for one champion on ECW aside from the world champion. And obviously the women have the $1 Million Championship, and the men, you have that. And Kim goes, wow, that does seem that's the sort of, loophole that you'd think you'd have ironed through. I understand you're new, you're the youngest general manager of all time, these sort of mistakes happen, I understand that, I'm willing to give you a pass just this once, but try not to disappoint my people again by teasing them with a Hardcore Champion they're not going to get, okay, Ava? She goes, no, Kevin, with the Hardcore Championship coming in, I'm going to need you to relinquish the Television Championship and hand it back to me. And he goes, what? Me? He goes, yeah. You want me to give up my championship, their championship, the People's Championship, for this? And Ava goes, yeah. He's like, well, do I get that one? She goes, no, but I will promise you, if you give that championship up, you will be in the first championship match, and then whoever wins the tournament will face you at the first ECW Premium Live event for the championship. He goes, So I give over my championship that I earned by beating Kyle O'Reilly. I earned this, and I retained this championship 2 nights ago at WrestleMania. And you want me to give it up? And he goes, yes, please, Kevin. And he goes, no. Why would I do that? I put my heart and soul on the line to get this championship, to win this championship. You threw all those people at me at WrestleMania. None of them could do the job. I beat their asses so bad, you had to fire one of them. But yet I'm still champion. And I guess you've run out of options. So your only option to take the championship from me right now is to strip me of it. And that's not going to happen. This is my championship. And unless you give me that one, this one's going nowhere. Okay? And she gets out of the ring and leaves. And here goes, Kevin, I'm gonna... Anyway, while I deal with that, here's your ECW Championship, or ECW Hardcore Championship Showcase match. We're gonna bring out 4 highlighted stars of the Hardcore division, and they're gonna entertain you while I go and sort him out. And she sort of rushes to the back. And then we get our match. Gets an 83. Pretty good, I'll take that. It's Brody King, Pistolero, Joe Gacy, and Hook. Brody King gets the win, fresh off losing his tag team championship. He wins this. So yeah, Brody pins Joe Gacy with a Gonzo Bomb. 71 for both Brody and Joe. 92 for Pistolero, 62 for Hook. So yeah, the ECW mid-card. We're setting up a tournament. The tournament will eventually be a Sabu Memorial Cup, but he's technically not dead in the game yet. So I can't announce that yet. But yeah, but it will be when it happens. But we have a little bit of controversy because Kevin Owens, of course the TV champion, has to give his belt up. But it doesn't look like he wants to do that. Then see, a rather flustered Ava, going, hey, has anyone seen Kevin? Has anyone seen Kevin Owens? Where's Kevin Owens? And then we hear her go, Ava! And it's Jacy Jayne, she walks in. And Ava goes, what, Jacy? I'm kind of busy. Of course, you're too busy for me. I'm not a priority to you. You know what? I've been thinking for a long time now. I tried my absolute hardest to keep things together in the Paragon, okay? And it didn't work out because they all lost at WrestleMania. The whole group fell apart, even though if the group is even still a thing anymore. So all of my hard work and efforts to do that out the window. Then you throw me out there against Mina unannounced. I don't like the treatment here on ECW. Ava goes, well, maybe if you give me time to sort out my problems, I can speak to you. And Jacy goes, nope, too late. I want to leave this show. I want you to put me up in the transfer window, and I want to get traded to either Raw or SmackDown. Ava goes, you know what, fine. Okay, I can't deal with you. I'm stressed. It's my first night. I've got people disobeying me and disrespecting me, and now I've got you. You know what, Jacy? Go ahead. Go and find somebody on Raw or SmackDown to bug. I'll leave me alone. And she just walks away, and Jacy's like, huh, fine. We then cut to the ring. And Kathy Cool and Next Gen make their way to the ring. And Kathy's got the mic. She goes, what is up, Sacramento? Wow. WrestleMania came and went, The entertainment capital of the world, perfect for the show star that I am. And I'll admit, WrestleMania went a little bit different than how I thought it was going to go. Because this entire time I thought myself and Shantae Washington were going to have our championship match. The championship match that Shantae earned by winning a match that featured Naomi. But that didn't happen because Shantae got attacked before the match. Now, I would never speculate on any such thing, because I know how tense certain people in this story can be. But it did seem awful convenient that Naomi just so happened to have a gear on her at WrestleMania, and when Shantae got attacked, Naomi wasn't around and nobody saw it. And then Naomi slid straight in there like a little slivery snake and took that opportunity. But it failed because I beat her. Because I always beat her. Because I've beaten her 3 times already. And then Naomi comes out. And she goes, what are you yapping about, Kathy? First of all, the only reason that you beat me at WrestleMania is because I had no time to prepare. Because I just watched my best friend get attacked. But there's an important part of this that you're skipping over, Kathy, because Nobody did see the attack correct, but I saw her, pointing at Nene. She was at the scene of the crime, so are you gonna ask Nene why she was at the scene of the crime when Shantae got attacked at WrestleMania, or you're not gonna bother because you already know the answer? Kathy goes, well, first of all, Nene was with us all night, okay? I don't understand you coming out here putting the blame on one of us trying to fracture our friendship just because yours and Shantae's is falling apart. Just, mine and Shantae's friendship has never been stronger, okay? I had my sister's back. And sure, she kind of messed up at WrestleMania by coming out there and I told her to stay in the back because I didn't want her to get any hurt anymore, but I can let that slide because I'm going to still win that championship off you, take it from your raggedy ass, and be the new $1 million champion. And that's when Shantae comes out on her crutches. She goes, Naomi, we don't have to do this out here. And Naomi snaps. She goes, you know what? You stand there and listen, because we do have to do this out here. Okay? I'm sick and tired of being disrespected. Okay, last week, I tried to take this bitch out, weaken her up for you, and you still couldn't get that done because you couldn't handle one attack from this bitch. Okay, so I stepped in there. I did a favor for you. I was going to win you the championship. Win the championship in place of you. But what do? You come hobbling out like a weak little bitch and get in my face. And now neither of us are the champion, because she still is. This green-haired little Grinch over here. Kathy goes, first of all, I thought you said, your friendship was perfectly fine because it seems and then he goes, you know what, I've changed. I've had him sick of this all. Okay, you're pointing fingers at me. She's pointing fingers at me. I'm doing what I wanted to do to help my friend out, and none of y'all are respecting me. You like that little attack that I gave you last week? Because there's going to be more where they're coming from. Because it's my time now. You're not looking a cutesy little Naomi. The sideshow attraction. You're looking at Naomi, the top star. Naomi, the superstar. Naomi, the future $1 million champion. And Kathy, you may have beaten Naomi twice, but you haven't beaten me at all. So let it be known. When you're sleeping at night and you think you're comfy, make sure you check under your bed before you go to sleep. Because you never know where Naomi might be lurking. Because I want that championship. I need that championship. Not for her. Pointing at Shantae. And Shantae, on the ramp, is getting increasingly sad. When they're mean to Willow Nightingale from WWE ECW. Oh, heel heat. And she goes, because this is all about me. And if you want to keep a hold of that championship, Kathy, I strongly advise you to proceed with caution. And then Naomi just gets out of the ring and leaves. She storms up the ramp. Shantae tries to stop her as she leaves, and Naomi shoves the on crutches Shantae Washington to the ground to a big ooh from the crowd. And she looks distraught that Naomi's done this. And Kathy probably even gets up to the ring and helps Shantae up, hey, you good? She goes, I guess not. My friend just shoved me to the floor and decided that she doesn't like me anymore, for no reason. We then get to Austin Theory backstage. He's being interviewed by Kelly Kincaid. Kelly goes, Theory, this Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal situation, it's a little bit crazy because, you were the one a couple of months ago who pitched for this match to be an ECW championship opportunity. But you're not going to get it because you didn't win the Battle Royal. Because I know, Kelly. And yes, my genius, my mastermind, again helping this company. Because it's not just in the ring and on the mic that Austin Theory is a good hand. I'm even good at giving them people whose job it is to come up with these ideas, great ideas, to make WrestleMania feel even bigger. And sure, the night didn't go the way I wanted it to. But this is a new year, this is a new era here on ECW. And I promise you, Austin Theory will get his hands on a championship one way or the other. It doesn't matter if I didn't win the Battle Royal or not. But one thing I can get on board with is me getting eliminated by that joke, that flash in the pan loser, Joe Hendry.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry's like, Austin, you sound a little bit rattled. Now, trust me, I'd understand, anyone who doesn't see these 260 pounds of pure motivation coming, it's going to be hard. But, Austin, I'll give you a little bit of advice. Let's chill out, Stop being so uptight all the time, relax. There's still plenty of years left in your career to make a name for yourself. You could maybe win Money in the Bank one day. Oh, wait, you did that and you're lost. Maybe you could get a shot at the ECW championships. Oh, you did that and you lost as well. Man, Theory, you've had a career of a 40-year-old and you're only 26. I guess your name is true. You being a top star around here, it is just a theory. You keep running your mouth, Joe. The only reason why I'm coming up short is because of my inexperience, because I want to be the top. I want to be the greatest WWE superstar who ever lived. I'm not happy to walk around here and being a joke like you. In fact, if I was a joke like you, I'd retire. Joe goes, well, if that's the case, then you wouldn't mind a little exhibition match with a joke like me next week here, would you? Because there's nothing I'd love more. So yeah, Joe Hendry, Austin Theory, next week on ECW. 59. We'll take that. Lola gets an adequate gimmick, which is better than the poor gimmick she did have. So that's an upgrade, I guess. But Lola Vice is on ECW. She beat Shotzi in 6 minutes 11, with the back fist or whatever. 40 for Lola, 63 for Shotzi. So yeah, borrowing Shotzi to try and earn her way to ECW to use her to give Lola a win. But yeah, I didn't want to beat Shotzi too bad, because even though she's on a losing streak and a bad luck of form, I need her to, she's got stuff coming up later that I need her to still be relatively popular for, so I did keep her strong here. So Lola won't gain as much as she should, but it's fine. She'll be around for longer, so. But yeah, Lola Vice, the MMA expertise, bring another hard-hitting style to ECW. Next week, we already have a few matches now set for the show, well, not a match, but including the return of the new ECW Women's Champion, Florence. She wasn't here tonight, but she will be back next week, her first appearance since WrestleMania, and we're going to find out a lot about her future on this brand next week. Plus, Austin Theory and Joe Hendry one-on-one next week on ECW. We heard it earlier on tonight when Austin Theory had that interview, calling Joe Hendry a joke and saying Austin Theory wants to be better than he is. Will he be right now, though? We'll wait and find out next week. Plus, now sanctioned, following her outburst earlier on tonight, this new side of Naomi. You get to finally see her in action as she takes on Next Gen's Nene Arizawa, who is the woman she has accused of attacking Shantae at WrestleMania. So yeah, it's Nene, it's Shantae. It's Nene, it's Naomi, one-on-one next week on ECW. Before the main event, we see Lola, celebrating her victory in the back when she's approached by Thunder Rosa, a fellow Latina. She goes, hey, congratulations on the debut and big win. She goes, thank you, Thunder. It's great to be here on ECW, bringing more Latina heat. But, you just came around here too and you're already holding it down well. She goes, hey, that's great. If there's any advice or any guidance you need here in your career, look my way and I'll give it to you. Lola goes, thank you, Thunder. She goes, no problem, and welcome to ECW. And, they bump fists. But yeah, Lola Vice and Thunder Rosa, two Latinas already on friendly terms here on ECW. But Thunder Rosa has just been friendly with everybody. She was friendly with Florence, now she's friendly with Lola. Just a nice, wholesome woman from the graveyards of Tijuana, Mexico. 87 rated main event. An 87 rated MFTs, I'll call it, main event. Warden, Jacob, and Solo do pick up the win. Jacob Fatu pins Tonga Loa with the moonsault. 89 for Warden, 79 for Solo, 94 for Jacob, 64 for Talatonga, 55 for Tonga Loa, 64 for Tamatonga. And yes, Jacob Fatu celebrates. You know, he's holding the championship around his neck. He's doing the big Jacob Fatu wiggle. You know, Solo's in there patting him on the back. Warden, you know, sort of gives him a nod of approval and leaves. So, yeah. When the lights go out. And when they come back on, Uncle Howdy has Jacob Fatu in position for his sister Abigail. And the crowd's, like, losing its mind. He sort of gets shots on the outside of the ring. You see Solo Sikoa laid out. We see Warden laid out on the ramp. We get a shot on the Titantron of Jimmy and Jay attacked backstage. And cut back to the ring. Uncle Howdy gives Jacob Fatu a kiss on the forehead. He plants him down with Sister Abigail. And the Wyatt 7, the new tag team champions. Interesting to note, though, is that when they do the pose at the end, Kip and Preston holding up the tag team championships. Because they're going to freebird the belts. But, yeah. But yes, Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt 7 taking out Jacob Fatu to close the show. Of all people, Uncle Howdy. 84. Yeah, ECW is, like, it's not going to rip Raw as like hot off the gates as Raw is, but I do have a lot of fun little stuff I want to get through. You know, this $1 million title story, I've got all of it planned out. I have ECW women's title stuff planned out as well, but I can't do it this week. I've got to wait till next week, so that's why Florence wasn't here tonight, but trust me, there's direction there for all of it, the Kevin Owens stuff, all of it. And, you know, the hardcore division, even the Sean Spears thing. Yeah, you know, it's not, there wasn't as many, like, bang, 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 big moments, you know, moments that you can react to on TikTok and they go viral and you can put them in video packages. Just a nice, you know, progressive show setting up some future stories, which, you know, sometimes you need. ECW isn't the hype moments and aura show like Raw is. It's, you know, it's going to be very wrestling show. Like, I've talked a lot about the new direction of ECW. It's mainly going to be like how Connor would book if I was booking Dynamite, basically. Well, like, there will still be angles and shit, but we know we'll have like the hardcore division and just shit like that. Like more like not indie, but sort of like, I guess, big budget black and gold would be the better way of putting it. But yeah, what matters more is what you thought of the show. Do let up in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown, where we will hear from their new women's champion, IYO SKY. See you then.